I think you're amazing.
You are too, Henry.
Thank you so much. Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you, or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank
God
you.
bless you too. Thank you for having us.
Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity to watch the show today. And I have an amazing subject for you today. It's something that I've went through. It's something that many people have went through. And if you know anything about me, I love coming to share my journey and experience with you today. So today I want to just come and talk about the subject, you can't handle her. You can't handle her. How many times have we've heard men say that? You can't handle her. Or maybe she said, I'm too much to handle. I may be too much for you. What does that exactly mean? I mean, coming from a person who have been told that myself, I kind of have some ideas on what I think it means, but also keep in mind that this subject is very vast. You may want to do more study on it. And some of you don't have to do study at all. You just know because you've been through it and that you've experienced. But we hear this all the time. You can't handle her. And I just want to come and just share with you briefly what that means to me and how that has impacted my life, not in a positive way, from my past experiences with this subject. So, the first thing I want to share with you is what exactly comes to my mind when you hear that word handle or handling someone. And that just simply means to deal with or to treat someone in a particular way. That's exactly what it means. It means to treat someone in a particular fashion, in a particular way. It also means when you hear that word, you can't handle her. It means they are impossible to manipulate, control, and manage. And thirdly, what comes to my mind when I think of you can't handle her is to tolerate someone. Now, let's just get this straight. Why would you want to be married or in a relationship with someone or even someone you have an interest in that you feel like you have to manipulate, control, and manage them? And ultimately, you're just simply tolerating them, barely getting by. Why would you want to treat them in that way? That is a poor way of not only viewing someone, but that is a poor way of treating someone. I think the ultimate question is that I've discovered is why does anyone, well, that's a man or a woman, this message can go vice versa. So don't watch this and be, he's attacking women. You're missing the whole point if that's what you feel like I'm doing. And if you feel that way, you're wrong. Because that is not what I'm doing. I'm just sharing my journey and sharing my experience. And my experience is reality, as I believe your experience is reality as well. So, why would you want to be with someone you feel like you have to handle? Why does anyone have to be handled? Why does anyone have to be controlled, manipulated? Why does anyone have to be managed? It's almost like a puppet. You put like a puppet on a string, and it's like you can move it around, make it jump, make it do whatever you want, make it turn flips. You can make it do whatever you want. That's the way some of our relationships look like. That's the way some of our marriages look like. We feel like I can't handle this person. I can't, they're out of control. You knew what you were getting into before you married them. You knew it. You saw the red flags, and I'm not being critical. I'm just being stating my observation. I'm stating what I know. So I read a beautiful quote from, and I don't know him, but I read this quote on Facebook and from someone, and he says, "No man wants a woman who has to be handled or tolerated." He then goes on to say, "I thank God my wife doesn't put me through mental and emotional gymnastics disguised as love." I love what he says at this last part. He says, "Loving her has been the easiest thing I've ever done." I thought that was amazing coming from that gentleman. And I was thinking to myself, this man has a wonderful wife. I don't even know who he is, but he has a wonderful wife. To speak of her in such a high regard, telling the world that she's the easiest thing to love, and that it's not been an issue with him, that his wife does not take him through mental and emotional gymnastics. And I want to talk about what that means too, because I really like that he said that. I feel like a lot of women do that. And I'm not generalizing. Like I said, this can go for both male and female, but I do realize, and I've experienced in the past, I've had women do it to me, take me through mental and emotional gymnastics disguised as love. So what it is that if you don't tolerate my negative traits, my bad behavior, you really don't love me. Well, I guess you could just say, I don't love you because I'm not going to hang around. I can't tell you, and I have not dated much, but I can't tell you the few relationships I've been in where I felt almost compelled to stay in that uh, relationship. And you know why I felt like I need to stay in that relationship? Because my relationship with them was disguised through love. I felt like I needed to tolerate them. I felt like I needed to handle them. And when I realized what I deserve, and I realized my worth, and I realized that I deserve to be treated like a king, and you ladies that's watching, you deserve to be treated like a queen. That's when you are empowered to walk away because you realize that no, I don't have to be in a relationship where I feel like I have to handle you or manage you or deal with you in a certain way. Nobody wants that at the end of the day. So I admire that man for speaking so highly of his wife, because there are so many today that do treat their spouses that way or their partner that way, just taking them on a roller coaster ride, and they're just hanging on. They're just hanging on. They're not going to leave. They're just going to stay there. Mental and emotional gymnastics just simply means a cognitive distortion or thoughts patterns that can lead to an inaccurate or irrational way of thinking. That's what it means. And people like this allow their thought patterns to distort reality. Those who take you on this emotional and mental gymnastics, they allow uh, they allow their negative thought patterns or thought patterns to distort. Distort just simply means you can't see clearly. You know, like a distorted image. It's like I see the picture, but I can't really make out what it is. That's the way, that's what happens when you take someone through emotional and mental gymnastics. That's exactly what happens. It does distort your reality. I remember being in a relationship with someone at one time that no matter what she thought, it didn't care what it was. And I knew I didn't do it. But no matter what she thought, if she thought it, it was reality. Now tell me how dangerous that is to be in a relationship with someone that the very thought that they have, well, they say it came from God, or or they just thought about it, that it's reality. It must have happened because you thought it. How unfair is that to be with somebody who simply just has a thought about you, and because they thought it, they perceive it as true? That is not good, and that is not healthy, and that's exactly what it means. And that's just one of many examples of people who allow their thought patterns to distort reality. It's hard for them to accept reality because their reality is delusional. Now let's get this straight. Since we're talking about uh, you can't handle her. I believe in general, both male and female, we can be a complex people. So let's be realistic. There are some people, both male and female, that can be difficult to manage. But just like anything in life, it's all about what you are willing to deal with. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just the truth. It's all about what you're willing to deal with. If you are in a relationship with someone you feel you have to handle, that is not a good relationship. That is not a healthy relationship. So, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? You can't handle her. To some, it means that he or she has a bunch of baggage, bad behaviors, negative traits that violates your boundaries consistently. It means that he or she may be mentally unstable. They may not even be ready for a relationship and may not treat you right. I'm letting you know before you go into this, this is what it could mean. You are expected to tolerate their bad behavior and negative traits. And don't worry about them changing because that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If anybody that wants to change, it's going to be you. And there may not be things about you that needs changing. It's just a reflection of who they are as a person. So I don't see it, and we'll talk about this a little bit later at the end of the show. I don't really see it as a compliment if a woman tells me you can't handle me. Because if a woman tells me that, I want to know, what do you mean? What does that mean? Ask her, what do you mean I can't? Are you meaning intimately, psychologically, emotionally? Are you talking about your bad behaviors, attitude? What is it? Why do you think, what convinced you to tell me that I can't handle you? Why do you feel that way? Do you have a history of saying this to other men in the past? Just my thoughts. So telling someone you can't handle them to me doesn't sound appealing. It's not like it's almost like a beautiful cake, chocolate cake, and you're like, oh, I want it. To me, that just doesn't sound appealing. It's not attractive, especially to the man that you say that you may have interest in. So it basically means that I want a man. I'm going to tell you what it means. When someone says, and what I'm about to say is, it doesn't always mean this way, but I feel like it can mean this. When a woman says, you can't handle me, it simply means I want a man that will put up with me. No matter what the behavior is, no matter what they're doing, no matter how hateful they are, whoever it may be, she simply means I want a man that will put up with me, let me be free to say and do the things I wish to do, even if it's at the expense of hurting you. Now, I couldn't handle you. I couldn't handle you simply equals I couldn't deal with you. And we have to stop. And I really hope we do. We have to stop normalizing bad behavior, as the young man said earlier, disguised as love. Because a lot of what you're dealing with right now is not love. It's toxic, it's harmful, it's narcissistic, it's not good. And you don't need to be in those type of relationships. Some of you probably don't even feel like you deserve it, but you do deserve it. So another thought I had too is that um, what if it's not really a matter of her being difficult or hard to handle, as it may just be a reflection of who you are? I believe every woman deserves respect, and this works both ways. But I believe woman deserves respect, trust, admiration, loyalty, and the list goes on and on. And there are men out there that are incapable of loving you the way you so deserve to be loved. There are men out there that are incapable of treating you right. There are men out there that's incapable of talking to you right and treating you like the queen and beautiful person that you are. Now watch this. So because they are incapable of treating you right and doing you right, they will say, well, she's hard to handle. You see the flip side to this? Now I'm talking about this side. I'm being fair. They would say, well, she's hard to handle. She's hard to deal with. No, 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 my friend. She's not hard to handle. She's not hard to deal with. It's just that you're not the appointed one. You're not the right one to give her what she needs. And because you are well incapable of doing that, your only conclusion is that she's hard to handle, that she's difficult. No, it's you that's hard to handle. It's you that's being difficult. And that is not a fair assessment of someone who's in your life that loves you, cares about you, treats you right, do you right. And you say, well, she's difficult. Learn her love language. It's just like anything in life. Things are going to be difficult, but when you learn how to love her in a safe space, when you learn how her love language and you learn the different things about her, get really getting to know her, it won't be as difficult as what you think it may be. So maybe you have a hard time managing yourself. What did I say? It's a reflection of who you are. It could be that, not that it's always that way. Maybe you have a hard time controlling yourself. Maybe you're the wild one. Maybe it's you. And if that's the case, that would make it difficult for anyone else too. So what a lot of us may perceive as difficult may not be difficult or hard to handle. Maybe it's an issue of giving her the love, affection, and attention that she so deserves. And I know a lot of people, they're just not doing that. They're not doing that. So I personally don't believe that anyone has to be handled. Let's just get that straight. Anyone, you don't have to be controlled. And if you find yourself with someone like this, no one is making you or forcing you to hang around or to stay around or to stay connected to that relationship or whatever connection you may have with that person. You have the power to walk away and look for someone that has shared values. So no one wants to be handled. Again, it's not a compliment. Like I say, if I had a woman tell me you can't handle me, I want to know, what does that mean? As a matter of fact, put it in the comment section right now, especially you men. Have you had a woman tell you that before? You can't handle me? What's your perspective on it? There's no wrong or right answer. We're asking everyone to be respectful, please, in the comments. I want to know your experience. Vice versa. Women, have you had men to tell you that you can't handle me? When you ask him, what do you mean by that? Are you abusive? I mean, is there things I need to know? Talk about it in the comment section. Let's have a respectful dialogue about this. I'm not generalizing a specific gender or anything like that. I'm bringing a lot of balance to this because this is an issue that's plaguing our community. And thank you so much for watching the show today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/HenryHarris100. You can also follow us on Facebook.com, The Brother Henry and You Show. And you can follow us on Soul TV at Facebook.com. We'll see you next week. Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank
Thank
you.
God
you.
bless you too. Thank you for having me.